Hi everyone, my name is Jay, and today we'll be going through another example of writing a scientific equation for a not necessarily scientific problem. You went through a problem like this with the gas station problem in lecture with Dr. Lee, but as you'll see, this one has a bit of a twist to it. So the question states to write a scientific equation on how much carpet it takes to fill a rectangular room everywhere except the dresser and the bed. So we'll start by highlighting relevant information. We know that we're filling the room with carpet, which gives us a clue that this might be a surface area question. We know that the room is rectangular in shape, which can tell us how exactly we're going to calculate that area. And we know that we don't want the carpeting everywhere. We want it all over the floor of the room, except for underneath the dresser and underneath the bed. So it can be helpful to visualize this information as a diagram. Here we have the rectangular room as well as a space for the dresser and the bed, and we're going to begin to shade in exactly where we think the carpet will be. So we fill in the areas all around the floor of the room, around the perimeter, but we avoid the area taken by the dresser and the bed. And as we draw this diagram, you'll start to see that because this is a rectangular room, we can definitely start to understand how the area could be written. And we're going to start writing our scientific equation. Keep in mind that we're always going to want to use variables that represent quantities as opposed to units when writing our scientific equations. And we'll start with the carpeting. We know that we want to determine what the area of carpeting is, so we'll use the letter A sub C to represent area of carpet. And we know that this is what we are solving for based on the question. And we'll start solving this question by taking the area of the rectangular room, which we can determine by finding the length of the room and multiplying it by the width of the room. The reason we can do this is because we're told the room is rectangular, and the area of a rectangle is always equal to the length of that rectangle times the width of the rectangle. So we've used L sub r and W sub r for length of the room and width of the room. However, the equation as written will give us the area of the entire room, and we don't want to cover our entire room with carpeting. We only want to cover the areas except for those under the dresser and the bed. So we need to subtract away the combined area of the dresser and the bed. We'll represent those with A sub D plus A sub B. And this will represent the area of the dresser and the area underneath the bed. It's important to note that we've only used A sub D and A sub B as opposed to a more specific notation for the area because the question does not specifically state that the dresser and bed are rectangular. We never want to make assumptions about data in the question that is not directly given to us. So, with the written equation, we have found the area of carpeting required to cover the room everywhere except for underneath the dresser and the bed. Thank you so much for watching our video, and I hope this helped in solving the problem.